Have you ever walked through life's harshest storms, yet felt an unexplainable calm holding you steady? As if, no matter how turbulent the waters became, a quiet strength within you always helped you find the shore. Do you recognize that whisper of intuition, a deep knowing that you are part of something vast and will not simply be lost to the waves? That feeling is a profound anchor. Let us explore it together. What I am about to share can deeply shift your understanding of your own path. Today, we will look into 3 archetypes of spiritual energy, signatures so potent and ancient, they have the power to dissolve any deep-seated pattern of hardship. I am not speaking of fleeting fortune or simple chance. I am speaking of a fundamental strength that emerges from the very core of your being, an unspoken agreement your spirit has with life itself. Ancient wisdom traditions observe that certain souls are tempered to face and transform the greatest challenges. They don't just endure, they alchemize pain, sorrow, and repetitive struggles into clarity. They are the quiet guardians of inner peace, and perhaps you are one of them. Or maybe you know someone who, no matter how many times life pushes them down, always rises with greater grace. People who navigate immense loss, difficult truths, and profound setbacks, yet always return with more light to give. This is not an accident. Throughout our time together, I will share who carries these archetypes. More than that, I will offer a perspective on why they carry such a profound purpose. What is the source of this strength? And what are the clear signs that your own spirit is part of this lineage of transformative power? You will come to see why some people experience such deep sorrow and yet possess an incredible capacity for renewal. Every word here is offered as a key to help you understand your journey, your struggles, and your inherent power. If you have ever felt that your life is a deep, inner pilgrimage, then this reflection is for you. Before we explore the first archetype, I invite you to take a nourishing breath. What you are about to hear may illuminate so much of what you have experienced. Before we continue, I'd like to extend an invitation. If, at any point, you have felt you carry a weight that seems older than you, if you live through cycles of difficulty that feel familiar, if you navigate an unseen current of struggle, perhaps share in the space below, "I feel this calling," or "I am ready to transform this cycle." Your words are not merely for others. They are a way of telling the universe that you are present for this change. Because when we give voice to our intention, we signal that we are conscious and ready to move beyond what has held us back. And if this message already stirs something within you, if you feel a deep recognition, if a quiet memory has surfaced, I ask you to offer your acknowledgement with a like. It is not just a gesture, it is a symbol that you see your own inner strength. Stay connected to this space, for in our future sharings, I will offer even deeper insights into your spiritual purpose, how to shield your peace from chaotic energies, and especially how to activate this resilience within you. Each sharing is a call, a new step in the awakening you are moving through right now. Prepare yourself, because the first archetype that carries this nearly unbreakable energy, the one born with the mission of dissolving deep patterns, is far more powerful than many assume, and I will share exactly who they are and why the universe has entrusted this profound journey to them. Now that you are present here with me, feeling this quiet energy, I invite you to receive each word with an open heart. When we speak of spiritual strength, unseen support, and life's purpose, we are touching upon something far beyond ordinary understanding. We are speaking of destiny, of purpose, of spiritual imprints you carry, perhaps without even being fully aware of them. You may not know this, but the simple fact that you are engaging with this video is a sign in itself that this message was meant to find you today. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but because the flow of life decided it was your moment to awaken. Throughout your life, others may have called you too sensitive, too intense, or even too dramatic. But deep down, only you know the quiet truth of your inner world. Only you know the weight you carry on your shoulders, the nights you sat in silence, the times you asked your own heart for an answer, a sign, anything to show you that you are not alone. And today, perhaps that answer is arriving through these words. I know you often wonder, why me? Why does it seem I am always being tested? Why must my path feel steeper, more challenging? And here is a truth that is seldom spoken. You may have never considered this. But what if every challenge you have ever met, every loss, every tear that has fallen, what if it was all part of your spiritual strengthening? A quiet preparation to make you exactly who you need to be now. A source of healing, an agent of transformation, a person born to clear a path that others did not have the strength to walk. Wisdom teachings speak of this, about the energetic influence of certain archetypes, about how some souls arrive with a vibrational readiness to dissolve old blockages. This is not mere belief. It is a matter of the soul, a purpose written into your very being. And perhaps you, who are listening to me now, carry this mark. This is why I say, do not overlook the signs, the synchronicities that are not mere coincidence. The times you were spared from something that could have ended poorly, the times you felt that unexplainable stillness, or had a dream of someone who has passed, offering you comfort or a quiet warning, or you felt a calming presence in the room, right on those days the world seemed about to crumble. These are all answers. These are messages that life has been trying to deliver to you for a long time. And if today this message is reaching you, it is because there is a reason. What I will share about the 3 archetypes is not a simple curiosity. It is an invitation. It is a confirmation of everything you have always sensed, but could never put into words. Before I share who they are, I invite you to do a short exercise with me now. Breathe deeply. Feel the air enter your lungs. Close your eyes for a moment and try to recall the last time you felt held by something you cannot explain. It may have been an accident that was narrowly avoided, a problem that seemed impossible, and then suddenly a path opened. A person who entered your life at the very moment you needed them most. Try to remember this feeling, because it will make sense very soon. I know it can be hard to believe we carry this kind of power, that there is a force within us capable of changing patterns that have echoed for decades, even generations in our family line. But it is real, and the 3 archetypes I will soon share were described in ancient teachings as true spiritual pillars. They are like anchors, silent guardians sent to do exactly what the universe needs, to release all that confines, that limits, that causes suffering. Before continuing, I need to ask for your help, as this video will only reach others who need this message if you become part of this stream of energy. So if at some point in our conversation you felt a warmth in your chest, a sense of release, or even a quiet awe, feel invited to share below. I feel that strength within me, or this message was for me. Acknowledge this moment with a like, because this simple act helps this energy spread to more people who need to hear just this. And if you are not yet a part of this community, I invite you to subscribe, because the next few minutes will bring insights that can completely change how you view your own spiritual life. And now that you are here, fully connected with this energy, feeling each word as if it were written especially for you, I invite you to continue this journey with me. What I am about to share can open doorways within you that you may not have even known existed. There is a profound reason you found this message right now, at this very moment in your life. It was not a coincidence. It was not random. A greater synchronicity is at play behind the scenes, and it brought you here because perhaps from this day forward, you will look at your own story with different eyes. When we speak of archetypes that dissolve old patterns, that break cycles of struggle, that carry an almost unshakable spiritual strength, we are speaking of people who have often wondered why everything always seems more intense for them, why the obstacles feel greater, why losses feel more painful, why disappointments seem to repeat like a story written by some unseen force. But what few understand is that this intensity of life is not a punishment. It is spiritual forging, a sharpening of the soul. It is as if life itself is tempering you in fire to turn you into a beacon of light. These three archetypes that I will share with you in a moment were described in ancient teachings as souls with a collective mission of transformation. People who are not just here to live their own stories, but to help cleanse the pain of entire generations. They are like living currents of energy, filters that absorb, process, and most importantly, transmute negativity in their environment. This is why, so many times, these people feel a weariness that seems endless, an emotional exhaustion that has no physical cause. It is the spiritual weight of what they carry. You may have felt this, that feeling of waking in the morning with the weight of the world on your shoulders, as if you are wrestling with something invisible, a dense energy that surrounds you. But at the same time, it can never defeat you for good, because there is a force within you that is greater than any hardship, greater than any judgment, greater than any chaotic energy sent your way. That strength, you can be sure, is real. And now, I need to ask you something important. Keep your attention with me until the end, because at the close, besides sharing who these three archetypes are, I will offer a spiritual insight that connects them all. This may help you discover that even if your own signature is not among the three, you might carry this same energy of protection and transmutation. I know you must be wondering, is my archetype on this list? And I say to you, stay with me, because every second of this journey is a piece of a puzzle that will begin to fit together in your mind, and especially in your heart. As I share all this with you, perhaps you are recalling specific moments in your life. Times when you felt you were on the edge of breaking, but something suddenly shifted the course of events. An unexpected call, a person appearing out of nowhere, a feeling of peace in the middle of chaos, or even that vivid dream that felt more like guidance, a direct message from the universe. If any of these things have happened to you, pay even closer attention now, because these are the signs, the clues that you are part of this group of souls chosen to dissolve old patterns. And do you know what is most interesting? Many of these people have a habit of feeling a deep resonance during moments of intuition. They notice the clock at the same repeating times. They have gut feelings that are later confirmed. They have a greater sensitivity to environments and the emotions of other people. They are the ones who, even unintentionally, end up holding space for the pain of others. They listen to everyone's problems. They try to help. They live with a sense that they need to offer peace to the world. But deep down, they often feel alone, unheard, even invisible. But let me tell you something. The universe does not forget its anchors. You have arrived here because your journey is just beginning to be revealed. So, take a deep breath. Soon, I will share which three archetypes were born with this spiritual mark. But before continuing, I want to ask for your support, which will not only help our community, but also create a stream of positive energy here. If at any point in this conversation you felt a deep recognition, a release of tears, or simply a profound identification, share here now. This message is for me. Or, I feel I have this spiritual purpose. And now that you are already emotionally connected with me and with everything that has been shared, the time has come to begin to explore the great guardians of this spiritual energy that dissolves difficult cycles, that cuts old ties, and that carries a strength almost impossible to explain with words. And the first of these could be no other. We are speaking of the archetype of the alchemist, the scorpion, a spiritual signature often misunderstood, labeled as too mysterious, too intense, even threatening by some. But what few people understand is that behind all this intensity lies a deep spiritual purpose, a mission of transformation. The alchemist is the one who carries within themselves the energy of endings and rebirth. We are not just speaking of physical endings. We are speaking of emotional endings, of the conclusion of cycles, of letting go of what no longer serves, of cutting energetic ties that have held you captive. The alchemist feels deeply the pain of loss, of betrayal, of loneliness, of falling down. But it is precisely through these experiences that they rebuild. Like a phoenix from the ashes, this archetype is reborn 1, 2, 10 times if needed. Nothing holds the alchemist down for long. No matter how life challenges them, no matter how circumstances try to dim their light, they always return stronger, more aware, more prepared. Do you know that kind of person who seems to have a natural radar for detecting dissonant energies? The person who enters a room and can sense when the air is heavy, when something is amiss, when people are not being genuine. This is the alchemist. A sharp intuition, a perception beyond the ordinary, a spiritual connection they often cannot explain. But what many do not see is the profound emotional weight the alchemist carries. Many times, behind the steady gaze and the appearance of self-sufficiency, there is a tired soul who has fought invisible wars no one can imagine. Inner wars, spiritual wars. Ancient wisdom teaches that the alchemist has one of the greatest capacities to transmute karmic weight. This means that throughout life, they will face challenges that are actually tests of spiritual resilience. Situations that will test their faith, their capacity for forgiveness, their ability to leave the past behind. So, if you carry the alchemist's energy, you may have already felt that the cycles in your life are much more intense. That the people who arrive often come to teach you something, but also to challenge you. That the losses you suffered were deeply painful, but at the same time, they serve to strengthen you in a way that today, you are almost unshakable emotionally. And do you know that power to sense people's intentions, to know who is true and who wears a mask? This is not paranoia. This is your spiritual energy protecting you. The universe gave you this sensitivity so you could identify challenges before they arrived. And if there is one thing the alchemist needs to understand, it is that this emotional intensity, this heart that feels everything so deeply, is not a burden. On the contrary, it is their greatest gift. It is their spiritual tool. This is what makes you a true agent for dissolving deep, challenging cycles. And I know that as I speak, many of you on the other side are seeing yourselves in every word. Perhaps it's coming to your mind now, that toxic relationship you had to sever, that job that drained your soul, that friendship that seemed true but only pulled you down, and how hard it was to break free from it all. But today, looking back, you know you had to do it, because that is what the alchemist does. They close doors even through pain. They end cycles even with tears. They burn bridges, but only when they know the path left behind no longer serves their new self. Before revealing the next archetype, I want to open a space here for you who carry this energy, or you who know someone who does. Leave in the comments what arises from the bottom of your soul now. If you have identified with all of this, if you have moved through emotional rebirths, if you are the one who always returns stronger, share here. I always rise again. And of course, if what I am saying resonates with you, if it has somehow touched your heart, leave your acknowledgement now. Because this is not just about metrics. It is about spreading this message to others who need to understand that the pain they experience is also a preparation. And now that we have delved into the deep energy of the alchemist, the time has come to speak of the second archetype that carries such a powerful force within. So bright that even in the most difficult situations, it is able to ward off any negative energy, any envy, any judgment that tries to dim its light. Yes, I am speaking of the luminary, the lion, the archetype of light, of courage, of spiritual leadership. The luminary is so much more than a symbol of pride or vanity, as many often superficially label it. This archetype carries a rare blessing, a divine spark that vibrates from the core of their soul. Whoever carries this energy has felt it since they were a child. They are those people who, without fully understanding why, always knew there was something different inside them, an invisible force, a kind of inner radiance that might bother some, but inspires many others. The luminary was not born to live in the shadows. They were not born to accept emotional crumbs. They were not born to hide. Even when life tries to quiet them, even when circumstances seem to want to extinguish their light, even when they face rejection, falls, and betrayals, the luminary finds a reserve of strength that surprises even themselves. You know that feeling of looking back after a difficult time and realizing that you persevered, that you rose up, that you overcame, even when no one believed in you. This is the essence of the luminary in action. There is a very strong spiritual protection around these people, as if the universe itself says, "You may fall, but your light will never go out." And do not think this protection means a life without challenges. Quite the contrary. The luminary often attracts intense spiritual tests, situations that demand resolve, that require courage, that require a power of self-affirmation that goes beyond the ego. Because the luminary's spiritual purpose is to be a lighthouse, to be the one who illuminates the path for others, even when they feel broken inside. How many times have you, a luminary, had to smile on the outside while your inner world was crumbling? How many times have you held back tears just to not worry others? How many times have you been the strength for everyone while no one saw the weight you carried on your back? It is because you were made to be a reference, an inspiration, to be the one who, even in the darkness, carries a lit torch. And there is one thing the universe does with the luminary. It tests their ability to believe in themselves. Because only when the luminary recognizes their own light can they activate the full power of their spiritual protection. That protection that blocks envy, that cuts through negative energies, that repels those who do not vibrate at their frequency. Ancient wisdom teaches that the luminary is one of the archetypes most linked to the solar energy center, the center of personal strength, courage, trust, and the power of manifestation. So luminaries have a natural ease for opening paths, for achieving what they desire, but especially for positively influencing those around them. And do you know that quality of attracting attention, of having a presence that doesn't go unnoticed? This is also part of the luminary's spiritual energy, even when they don't intend it. Luminaries draw the eye, and many times this can arouse envy, judgment, or unseen energetic attacks. But do you know what happens? Nothing, absolutely nothing is able to extinguish the light of those born to shine. But for this protection to be active, there is one thing the luminary must always remember. Their light is not just for themselves. It was given to illuminate the paths of others as well. So every time you try to hide, every time you make yourself small, every time you fail to stand in your truth for fear of displeasing someone, you lose strength. Your mission is to be great, to be an example, a voice, a guide, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. And if you are a luminary, perhaps you are now remembering every time you were called arrogant, dramatic, or attention-seeking, when in truth, all you wanted was to live your truth, follow your heart, and be a light for those around you. So, if as I spoke, you felt I was describing exactly what you live, what you feel, what you have been through, I want you to do something now. Share here in the comments the following phrase: "My light will not be dimmed." I want to feel the strength of all the luminaries who are watching this video with me. And of course, if this content has touched you in any way, if you feel this message was for you, offer your like, because it helps this message reach more people who are also in need of this spiritual confirmation. And now that you have journeyed into the deep energies of the alchemist and the brave light of the luminary, the time has come to reveal the third archetype of this spiritual triad, the one who carries a protection so subtle, so silent, yet so powerful that those around them often do not even realize it, but the results are always visible. This is the archetype of the mystic, the fish, the ones who seem to live between two worlds, between the material and the spiritual, the visible and the invisible, the here and the beyond. The mystic is, without a doubt, one of the archetypes most connected to the flow of life. From an early age, those with this energy often have feelings they cannot explain, premonitions, dreams that come true, a sense of being guided by something, by someone, by a force they cannot see but feel with a startling clarity. Many mystics report that they have narrowly escaped dangerous situations, as if by a hair's breadth, as if something pushed them to the right, as if an unseen hand guided them from a place at the exact right moment, as if an inner voice shouted loudly, "Do not go down that path." This connection to the unseen makes the mystic seem to many as distracted, dreamy, or even disconnected from reality. But what most do not understand is that this apparent distraction is actually a spiritual connection, so strong, so intense, that the mystic is often attuned to another plane, capturing signs, receiving messages, and feeling energies that no one else can perceive. Ancient wisdom describes the mystic as a walking spiritual antenna. They absorb, they feel, and often they even become emotionally unwell because of it. Those who carry the mystic's energy know how difficult it is to explain to others the reason for certain feelings. Tears that come from nowhere, a sense of anguish without an explanation, a feeling of loss even when nothing concrete has happened. All of these are clear signs of their spiritual sensitivity. But the most beautiful part of it all is that along with this sensitivity comes a natural protection, as if unseen guardians or larger forces are constantly beside them. It is no exaggeration to say that those who try to harm a mystic will sooner or later face the universe's own response, because the mystic often unknowingly walks with an invisible army around them. What few realize is that the mystic has a natural gift for transforming environments. You know that person who arrives in a place and suddenly the mood feels lighter, calmer, more harmonious. That is the mystic's energy in action. On the other hand, when a mystic is sad, anxious, or afraid, the entire environment can become heavy, dense, confused, because their energy is so strong that it affects everything around them. Another very striking trait of the mystic is the ability to feel the pain of others as if it were their own. They are true emotional sponges. They absorb sadness, joy, fear, and even the energetic ailments of those around them. This is why they so often end up feeling emotionally unwell, taking on pain that is not their own. And if you are a mystic, you have probably felt that uncontrollable urge to help someone, even when you yourself were depleted. But this is precisely why the mystic is part of this list of archetypes that dissolve old patterns. Because they have the ability to cleanse an environment, to heal another with a simple presence, with a look, with a word spoken at the right time. Even when they are in their own crisis, they are still a source of comfort to others. And there is more. The mystic is also known for being a receiver of signs. The famous signs from the universe. If you carry this energy, you have probably had experiences where repeating numbers appeared often, or a song played right when you needed an answer, or you had dreams so real that when you woke up, you felt as if you were still inside them. And if you are listening to me now, and you are a mystic or know someone who is, you know exactly what I am talking about. You have felt this invisible shield protecting you. You have felt that sense that something much bigger is looking out for you. And even in the phases where everything seems to be going wrong, somehow an unexpected way out always appears. A solution that comes from nowhere. Help that arrives when you had already lost hope. And that is why the mystic is the last on this list, but they are far from being the least important. On the contrary, the mystic is the one who silently carries on their back many energies that are not their own. But for some divine reason, the universe has chosen them to transform them. Now, if as I spoke, a strong memory came to your mind, if you identified with these sensations, if you have experienced these signs or know someone who has, I want you to comment here now. My spirit always guides me. I truly want to see how much of this mystic energy is present here, and how much this message has resonated with your soul. Now that you have come to know the depth of the alchemist's strength, the luminary's light, and the mystic's unseen protection, the time has come to share the great spiritual secret that connects these three archetypes in a way that goes far beyond conventional understanding. What I am about to tell you now may make many pieces of your life fall into place in your mind, and especially in your heart. Ancient wisdom, passed down through generations, describes these three energetic signatures: the alchemist Scorpio, the luminary Leo, and the mystic Pisces, as pillars of a spiritual purpose that extends beyond common human experience. These three archetypes are not grouped together by chance. There is an energetic, purposeful, and spiritual reason behind this connection. They were chosen to be instruments of transformation. They are, quite literally, living conduits for collective healing. People who carry a vibrational field so powerful that they are capable of dissolving patterns of hardship that have dragged on for entire generations. Do you know that cycle of struggle that seems to have no end in your family? That repeating pattern of loss, scarcity, emotional illness, betrayal, or abandonment? All of this is often an echo of an energy that has accumulated over years, decades, centuries. And those born under these signatures came precisely for this, to cut this invisible thread that ties generations to suffering. But the most profound part of this is that these people do not do this just for themselves. They face inner and outer battles, often without even knowing what is happening. What is truly occurring is that they are energetically cleansing a field much larger than their own. They are cleansing the pain of their ancestors and even people they never knew, but whose energies still vibrate in their spiritual lineage. And do you know what makes this even deeper? Most of these individuals are not aware that they are living through this very process. They think they are just having a difficult life, full of challenges, losses, and emotional tests, when in fact, they are being forged for the great mission of their soul, to break the cycle, to rewrite the destiny of their lineage. And perhaps now you understand why so many things you have experienced seemed meaningless. They felt like punishments. They seemed unfair. But in truth, they were the necessary steps to strengthen you, to prepare you, to turn you into what the universe needed you to become. The alchemist does this through emotional transmutation. The luminary does this with their light, their courage to take a stand, to lead, and to inspire others. And the mystic does this with their spiritual connection, their ability to feel, to intuit, to welcome, and to transform the invisible into healing. And of course, now you might be thinking, but what if I am not one of these three archetypes? Do I also carry this purpose? And the answer is that the universe is much wiser and more complex than just your primary energetic signature. There are people who, though they may have other primary archetypes, carry these same energies in important positions in their spiritual makeup, such as in their heart's resonance or in aspects of their soul's path. So, what truly matters now is not just the archetype you carry, but the identification you felt with everything I have said so far. If, as I spoke of the alchemist, the luminary, or the mystic, something inside you resonated, if you felt a deep recognition, a release of tears, or that feeling of, it feels like he is talking about me, then believe me, you are also part of this spiritual chain. The universe does not make mistakes. If this message came to you, it's because you needed to hear exactly this. Perhaps to better understand your story, to forgive your past, or to finally step into your spiritual purpose. Before I tell you what this means on an even deeper level, I want to open this space for you to express yourself. If during this journey you identified with any part of this message, if you feel you carry the emotional weight of generations, if you have had that feeling that you are contending with something invisible that does not belong to you, I want you to share here. Now, I accept my spiritual purpose, or I am the end point of the pain cycles in my family. And now that you have journeyed with me to this point and received every word, perhaps you are feeling something hard to explain. Maybe a warmth in your chest, a sense of relief, or even a wave of emotion that comes from nowhere, but it brings a sense of truth and revelation, that finally you understand why so much has happened in your life. Because the truth is that when we hear words that speak directly to our soul, our entire body responds. It is as if all your cells recognize that after so long, you are receiving an answer you have always sought. If at any point, as I spoke of the alchemist, the luminary, and the mystic, you saw yourself in these stories, in the pain, in the overcoming, if you felt that I was describing exactly what you have been through, what you feel, what you face every day, then now is your time to stand in your spiritual truth. Because when we write, we affirm. When you share, you activate an energy of liberation, as if saying to the universe, I understand, I am ready. My spiritual journey begins now. And so, I invite you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. And if you recognized yourself in what I have shared, if any tears fell, if a deep calm washed over you, if a powerful memory surfaced, leave here in the comments. I transform the cycles of pain. Write it with faith, with feeling. Write it as a ritual of release, because the simple act of forming these words is already a way of declaring to the universe that you are embracing your true spiritual strength. And do you know what is most beautiful in all of this? It is that you are not alone. Look at the comments below. Look at how many other people are living through this same process, this same energy transition, this same spiritual awakening. Each person who comments will be part of a chain of healing, a collective energy of transformation where, together, we dissolve negative patterns, break with what no longer serves, and open the way for a life that is lighter, more aligned, more protected. And if you are thinking that was the final insight, I must tell you that what comes next is even deeper. In our next sharing, I will reveal the 3 archetypes that most attract divine guidance. Those who, regardless of what they do, always seem to have an invisible force looking after them, diverting them from danger, opening doors, and bringing forth what many would call luck, but which is, in truth, high-level spiritual protection. So, I invite you to subscribe now to the channel and activate the bell, because when that video is released, you will be one of the first to receive it. And believe me, if you have ever felt that greater forces protect you, that danger always passes you by, if you have escaped situations where the outcome could have been much worse, you cannot miss our next sharing. And before we conclude, one more thing. If you got here, if you listened to each word until the end, it is because your soul was truly ready for this message. This is not by chance. This is your path. This is part of your spiritual calling. So besides commenting, I transform the cycles of pain. Also leave your like, because with that, you help me bring this message to those who truly need it, to other people who are also fighting their own invisible battles, and who, like you, deserve this awakening. If you stayed with me until the end of this video, it is because this message was truly for you. This in itself shows that your soul is ready to take the next step on this spiritual journey. So, do the following: subscribe now to the channel, because here, each video is an invitation, a new insight, a new stage of the awakening you are living. If you have gotten here, I want you to comment below the following phrase: I accept my spiritual mission. This will show me that you are one who feels, who listens to the call, and who is ready to embrace your strength. And of course, if this video has touched your heart in any way, leave your like now, because it helps this message reach more people who are also in need of this sign. And before you go, do not forget to click on the next video that is appearing on your screen, because in it, I will reveal the 3 archetypes that most attract divine guidance. Those who have such a strong spiritual shield that even the impossible bends before them. I hope to see you there.